Now I'm going to say this prayer with you guys. You have to say it after me. May I, Malobi, never be that person who someone who is going through a difficult time encounters and feels worse than they were before they encountered me. Amen. Amen. Hi everyone. So today I want to speak about the people that you should stay away from completely if you just lost your job, and the person not to be to anyone who just lost their job. So I have spoken about how awesome many of my friends were during my job loss season. I have also spoken about how wonderful my friends were. So I would say 98% of all the people that were around me were great and were kind, were awesome, were supportive with their words, with their actions. However, you know, like every other thing, there will be that 1% or 2%, the Judas, basically. So I'll share my experience, and then I'll share like things, my thoughts on some of the things and some of the ways that these 1% of people or 2% of people acted. So the very first example that I'm going to give would be a friend who, out of goodwill, perhaps had very good intentions, but she wasn't very emotionally intelligent to know what to say at the right time. You know, we got talking. So for a while, for the very first few months of my layoff, I wasn't really talking to many people because I was depressed. I was still trying to get out of that depression. But somehow I was able to go through my messages, and then found that a lot of people have sent me messages. And so I started responding to one or two of them. And then I got on the phone with one of my friends who were not that close. However, you know, she was a former colleague, and then she just said, you know what, that is why when we're telling you to have a partner, you know now, see now, if you had a partner now, I was like, what do you mean? What does that even mean? And in my head, I was like, would the partner have stopped my job loss? Would the partner have stopped the fact that I lost my job and I was depressed? Would the partner, I know people who are married who get depressed. We know mothers who are married but have postpartum depression. So what does that even mean? But you know, in our people's way of doing things, it's the thing that you don't have that they would try to amplify when you're going through stuff. Come on, guys. Don't be that person. Firstly, stay away from people like this, because they're going to just make your mental health go downhill. And then you out there, don't be that person who will look at someone who is going through a difficult time, and then you decide to amplify that thing that they do not have. Now me, I'm not really, when people talk about having partners and stuff, you guys know I'm single, it doesn't really bother me. But I was really irritated that that would be what she would bring up during that time. Because for me, yes, if I had a partner, of course, maybe the blow would have been softer. I wouldn't have had to deal with bills. Maybe the partner would still be working. What if I had a partner and the partner wasn't working? Or what if I had a partner and the partner lost their job as well? Like anything, there's no guarantees in life. Anyway, my point is, do not be that person who would even dampen the mood of someone who is already going through a difficult time. Be careful what you say to people. I am learning, I'm not perfect. However, be careful what you say. Be careful, especially when the person has lost their job, the person has lost a loved one, the person has, like, there's a significant change in a person's life. The person is going through a terminal disease. There's so many examples. Let's be careful. Let's be watchful. Anyway, my second point will be, stay away from people who will look down on you, look down on your skills, look down on your experience, look down on the things that you have already accomplished. Now, I remember some years ago when I first came to Canada, there was one person who was like, oh, who cares about your MBA? Nobody cares about your MBA. And I'm like, hello, it took me years to get the MBA and the other masters, and you want me to just forget about it because nobody cares? No, I wouldn't. So be careful. I'm saying it again, be careful of these kinds of people. You can listen to them if you want, but really I don't even think you should listen to them. Once you start hearing that, you just say, you know what, I'm not in the mood right now, let's talk later, right? Be careful about the people who try to, so depending on your experience, depending on your skill set, you may not want to take certain jobs, and that's okay. You may not want to take menial jobs, and that's okay. If that is what you want, stay away from people who will tell you, and go and take that job now. You better go and look for something small. You better go and look for, go to McDonald's or go. Stay away from them. If you don't want to hear it, stay away from them and focus on your focus. Focus on the job that you want. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have the options of going to do certain jobs. There's dignity in labor. If you feel up to it, please do it. If you have gotten to a point where you need to start paying your bills and you have to do it, do it. But if it's disturbing your mental health, like if you know that you want a particular job, like me, I had already garnered experience in Canada, and even before I came to Canada, I have 2 master's degrees. I have years of experience from Nigeria, from the US, from Canada, and then so at that point, I just wanted to focus on getting the right job for me. And so I didn't want to hear, oh, go and do, and not because I haven't done all these like low paying jobs in the past. You guys know my story. I've done all kinds. I've done a job where they paid me $7.50. I've done a job, I've driven Uber for 8 months. I've done a job where the man was yelling at me. Like, I've done all kinds. I don't even want to start saying it here because really this is not the point of the video. So at the time, I knew that I really, like, firstly, I was mentally exhausted. I was battling with my mental health. And so there was one particular day that I got on the phone with a friend who was trying to help, really, going through my resume, and, you know, the things that she said the tips were helpful. However, there were just certain things that she said that just made it was as if my depression started again, right? And I'm like, what? After the call that I had with her, I had to call another friend, you know, just to get to feel better. She said things like, again, her intention was good. She wanted to help me revamp my resume, so, you know, but she said things like, oh, they do not lay off certain managers. Oh, you don't have experience. You are so highly educated but not much experience. Oh, the job you're applying for, they want somebody to come and lead. This is me who has years of my managerial experience. Of course, I was looking for a managerial role, you know. So yes, your intentions may be good, but we should be careful the things that we say to people when they are going through it. Like, how do you motivate people? Like, how do you make them feel like they can do it again? They can pick themselves up again and get what they truly deserve. Now, I'm going to give examples of the opposite of it. On the flip side of that, I had a friend, I'm going to mention Mayowa again. She followed through with me the different stages of my interviews. She knew how hard I was working. She was, you know, chat with me early in the morning when I'm preparing for my interviews. She would ask me questions, and she would say, each time when I either get a rejection or anything, she'd say, oh, you're doing well, you're trying, or you're really doing well, don't worry, good news soon, you're trying, you're doing well. That you are doing well, you are trying, those were just 3 words. You are doing well. 4 words that I remembered when I was down, when I did not have motivation to do anything, when I did not want to apply for jobs. When I remember my wife saying, you are doing well, or when I remember Nne saying, don't worry, everything will be fine, you will get it. This one, you will get it. You don't have to say too much. If you have nothing to say, it's better to keep quiet. So don't be that person who is a dampener. And I remember telling that friend of mine, I said, I prayed. I said, may we never leave the people that we encounter who are going through worse and difficult times, may we never leave them worse than they were before they encountered us. Now I'm going to say this prayer with you guys. May we, you have to say it after me. May I, Malobi, never be that person who someone who is going through a difficult time encounters and feels worse than they were before they encountered me. Amen. Amen. So please leave in the comments some kind of things that people say to you if you have gone through a job loss or if you have gone through a difficult time, and there's certain things that people have said to you that just triggered you, that made you go worse, or that made you even start crying, or you were just depressed after they said it. Please leave in comments, give us examples of those things so that we learn. We learn how to be more emotionally intelligent. We learn how to be careful with our words, especially when people are going through a difficult time. Now, I understand you want to help them. You want to help them come out of the depression. You want to help them get their resume. Some people will say, why you are wasting time? Yeah, you know, time is going. You better start applying for jobs. Sometimes the person is exhausted, genuinely exhausted. It is exhausting to continuously apply for jobs back to back, getting interviews back to back, and getting rejections back to back. It is exhausting. If you have not been there before, then you wouldn't know. So I'm saying this again, it is mentally exhausting. So tell the people in your lives who are going through this phase, tell them they are doing well, because indeed they are doing well. I understand that some people are more laid back and they need some push, but first, ensure that they are okay before you start pushing them. Now, and you also need to know the kinds of person. Yeah, this brings us to the last point. I wanted to end the video, but it brings us to the last point. You need to know the kind of person that you're dealing with. If this person has been, you've seen precedents, they've been hardworking, you see them do things, great things in the past, and suddenly they're just tired, then let them be. Because me, in the past 15 years, I've been working back to back. I've been doing things. My friends, like, have seen me do things back to back. So if this time I tell you that I am mentally exhausted, shouldn't you even be more empathetic and say, it's true, this person is not usually like this. You know, let me be softer with her. So anyway, I'm going to thank all the people that were soft with me. I needed the pampering. Thank you for the pampering. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you for your support. And the people that did not know any better, I hope that we all learn going forward. Ciao, guys. On to the next video. See you then.